Hi guys, residents are back in town 24/7 and so are businesses and also people that work there, people that help the residents, and also the press is allowed to go in there and document the events and the damages. So residents are happier than they have been before. Some lawsuits that have been filed against the state have been dropped because now they have the access again. But we're still a little bit left in the open. What is going to happen with the buyout of the homes that has been announced for the residents of Grindavik? And the big issue is the assessment of the value of the homes. And, this has to be financed somehow. So the government said they formed a company that will be the managing company taking over these properties, buy them out at a rate of 95% of the fire insurance assessment. And then they want to go after the natural disaster insurance to get money from there, to get money back from there, because then they have to deal with all these insurance claims and with all the trouble, because the natural disaster insurance has been trouble so far. They haven't really acted fast. Of course, they have reinsurers that might cause problems. And then there's the question, was that damage because of a natural disaster, or did that pipe break because of frost? And stuff like this. So what they are expecting is they have given the residents a short period to comment on a draft of that bill. And of course, most comments were, hey, this is 95% of fire assessment. It should be market assessment before November 10th, before everything began. And the question that I still have in mind, 95% of the value of the fire assessment, but what is going on with the land underneath? If you have a fire insurance, it doesn't cover your land, because normally if your house burns down, you collect that money to rebuild, right? In some countries, you can do whatever with the money, and some you are forced to use it for the house. But anyways, if they're buying the actual home but not the land, that's what some residents are also saying. Well, we don't have enough money to buy somewhere else, because basically, if you go west more towards Reykjavik, it's more expensive there. You can't buy a house with a garden there for that money. And basically, they're not getting out their cash, their down payments. Basically, they're getting rid of their mortgages, but they don't have the cash to make a down payment on another home. So that's a problem for many of them. And of course, the businesses are not being bought out. So what about them, right? At least they can get into the town now to reopen their businesses, right? But what if the business is a restaurant or a store? I mean, there are no tourists, nobody, only like certain people are allowed in. So there's not much business, even if you're open, right? So of course, they said today that these issues of Grindavik were discussed at a meeting of the Economic and Trade Committee. And basically, there are two bills under consideration made by the Minister of Trade and Economy. And they are hoping that these bills will be sent to Parliament for discussion at the end of this week. So bureaucracy is grinding slow, right? So the previous bill deals basically with a temporary operational support for the residents due to natural disasters. So that was like rent subsidy and stuff like this. They were thinking about buying rental apartments. And that the other bill deals with the purchase of the residential properties in Grindavik. And they say purchase of the properties. But as I said, at 95% of the fire assessment, does that include the land? Because then it's really a loss, right? If that also includes the land. They are saying that the case of Grindavik is a main priority in Parliament and that they want to make this a top priority. So they think it's going very well and things are discussed with the committee, and that the comments they have received have helped them, and that they have talked actually to representatives of Grindavik to discuss various suggestions and other things that were related to these bills. The discussions took place with representatives of the town, with companies in Grindavik, and with representatives of the businesses and representatives of labor. So I hope this will move forward fast, right? The bill has already undergone changes. And then following, a number of comments were made, and then it was first presented. So they say there is a general satisfaction with the bills and their main goals in the committee. So this bill deals with the residents of Grindavik, but it is quite the issue, and there are more suggestions what they could do better. But they do not expect that there will be major changes in the main aspect of that bill. So does that include the amount of the assessment? I would think so. And since the assessment of the properties and the home is a big issue, already 600 residents have applied for a reassessment of their properties, and that's quite the large number, right? So the Housing and Civil Engineering Agency has received a large number of applications for reassessment of the fire compensation assessments for the residential buildings in Grindavik. So what they are saying that from these 600 applications, 244 applications have already been processed, and a review of the fire compensation assessment has led to an increase in the fire compensation assessment of residential buildings by roughly 3 billion Icelandic kronas. And these applications for reassessment have taken place already since November 10th, right? Because there it was already announced that, you know, what is the compensation they could receive also by the natural disaster insurance. And word was out that the assessment could be just related to the fire insurance assessment. And already at that time, many residents were not happy with their assessment and wanted it reassessed. So that's why many applications have already been processed. But the question is, to the satisfaction of the residents? We don't know that. So I guess we have to wait till that bill is out, and then we can really see what the reaction of the residents will be. And I think they have to follow up very, very quickly with a solution for the businesses. Or is their strategy something else now? It seems they have given in to the pressure of the businesses and residents to open the town up full time, 24/7. So now the businesses, especially like the larger ones, like the fish processing plants, they can conduct their business again. So is that the strategy that they're saying, well, you're running again, do we really need to buy you out? Is that a way to avoid that issue? Well, we have to see. We don't know, but it's definitely something to think about, right? Why are they doing what? I mean, it costs a lot of money. And I know a lot of you guys keep saying, well, it's a natural disaster. It's not the government's fault. Why should they pay for it? So it's a loss. Be happy if you get something from the insurance and then move on. Yeah, there is some truth to that too. I mean, this is a unique situation because Iceland does have this natural disaster insurance, but they need to change the rules because this is an ongoing disaster. And the natural disaster insurance only wants to pay for, like, disaster happened, we pay you to rebuild. They don't pay for people to be able to move somewhere else. It needs to be related to the property, unless your property is a total loss and the land is so bad that you can't build there anymore. So changes will need to be made. What's the right answer here, guys? I really don't know. I feel for the residents, but I also see the other side. You can't bankrupt the country. And in light of what's happening with all the volcanic systems on the Reykjanes Peninsula that are waking up, we could have a lava flow at the edges of Reykjavik or in other areas. What if there is damage there and they need to do the same thing all over again? Because now they're saying, well, don't build a new airport between Keflavik and Reykjavik, because that's the same hazard area that the Keflavik airport already has. So they want to move that to safer areas. They're talking about building defense walls for other critical infrastructure, for other town or subdivision areas. So, we hope not, but you have to calculate the worst case a little bit. It can bankrupt the country again. And the natural disaster insurance doesn't have that much money already to deal with this. And then the reinsurance companies, right? They are probably trying to find a loophole and find a way out of this. And if this is ongoing, you might lose that insurance. Who knows, right? It's a critical situation and it needs to be well thought through. So yeah, that was my quick update for today about that topic. More updates are coming. They're now starting to measure the cracks. Now they're really making a grid of Grindavik to really see where all the large cracks are. Does that make sense right now? We will probably see the next eruption very, very soon. There are reports out that the magma chamber has even filled up to an extent that it had last time before the last eruptions. So we will have to see. It looks like a few days max, and I'll keep you informed. Click the subscribe button, the notification bell, and check my channel daily if the notification bell doesn't work. I'm releasing daily updates, and it would be awesome if you could subscribe on my buymeacoffee.com/silky site, because there I will send you an email if there is a next eruption or anything very important going on. You can see in my post sections a few maps and stuff that I post. And of course, if you want to support my channel and my farm, you can do that there too. And thank you so much to everyone who has done that, and thank you so much for your supers, and thanks so much for your beautiful comments, and I love to engage with you and have a conversation. And yeah, until the next one, guys, check out the 2 videos in the end screen. Maybe that is of interest, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Bye bye.